Right, welcome to the showcase video and tactical video as well for the T'au Commander. So we're going to be looking at the new codex here that's available now for the T'au, and a chance to take a look at the model here as well. So in this video, be a showcase first of all. I'll give you a nice close-up view of the model that I use at the moment for my T'au Commander, and then we'll go through the entry here in the codex. We'll talk about different options that are available, a lot of different configurations here that are available, and then we'll talk about tactics and strategy, and maybe we'll roll up some dice as well just to illustrate how these T'au Commanders can be used. So I've had a few T'au Commanders for the T'au Army over time, but the new plastic kit came out here. So this is the model just here, and I would heartily recommend, if you're a T'au player or you're starting to collect T'au, you've got a small force, this is one of the kits that you need to get. It's a beautiful kit. The model looks very, very good, and he's head and shoulders above a regular Crisis Battlesuit. So this is a larger model, looks like a commander, and just the sculpt of the whole thing, the poses that you can do, I think just looks absolutely fantastic. We'll talk about the Cold Star as well in this video as well, so we'll cover the entry for that, talk about all the different options available here. I'll zoom in and you can take a closer look. So there he is. Now this new commander here, for this new T'au list that I've been running, he's unnamed at the moment. I don't have a name for him, so if you want to leave a name suggestion in the comment section below, then feel free to do that. The configuration that I have, just to give you an idea of a name for him, is, I haven't modelled it yet, but it's Quadruple Fusion Blaster. So he's there for ambushing and destroying monsters, and primarily tanks, so for destroying those effectively as possible. His weapons here, I was saying that the Fusion Blaster goes through tank armor like a knife through butter, and I was thinking about calling him Commander Butter Knife, but it doesn't really sound very very good. So if you've got a better name than Commander Butter Knife, then by all means leave that in the comment section below. But I'll seriously consider all of them. If there's a really good one, then I will name him after a subscriber suggestion. So there it is. It's just giving you an idea of the colour scheme. So originally, the first time I collected T'au, there's no orange and there's less grey. So it's like a grey, dark grey colour scheme, and it was all right. But I wanted to inject a little bit of colour, and just by adding in the orange, you can choose pretty much any colour that you want, but I chose orange to add that in, and I increased the amount of white and grey, and I think it's just a great enhancement, a big improvement on how they used to look. There is a full painting tutorial for this exact colour scheme on the channel here. It's been up for quite a while now, that painting tutorial. I'll show you how to paint one of the broadsides, but that same technique can be applied to all of the T'au units, including this commander here, but all of the infantry, battlesuits, vehicles and so on. You can use that exact technique. I'll show you how to paint all of the colours, do the inks and washes, the metallic effects, transfers as well are covered in that video, and basing also as well. Looks like this commander's trampled over some orcs here, some orc debris left here on this base, and some Astra Militarum stuff as well. So there's also an in-depth painting tutorial for the T'au that's on the Plus channel. You can check that out. Now that is for a Storm Surge, so from start to finish, that huge model, I'll show you exactly how to paint it up in this colour scheme just here. That's on the Plus channel, you can check that out as well. So what I'll do now is we'll zoom out again, we'll take a look at this unit now in the entry in the current codex for the T'au Empire. So what I'm planning to do, I said Quadruple Fusion Blast here. They're quite simple to reconfigure and change the weapon loadouts as well. You get plenty of spare weapons with your T'au kits, and so I've got two Fusion Blasters here I've cleaned up. I simply plan to paint those on, paint them up, varnish them, and then stick them on somewhere. Probably put them doubled up like this, a side by side on there, just to double up those Fusion Blasters. It'll make them look a bit meaner as well to have the four of those just on there. But they're quite easy to reconfigure the T'au. Like if I wanted to get rid of these, I could just snap these off of the arm and then stick another weapon of some kind on. The better option, if you're willing to do it, is to magnetize these arms and then change your weapon loadouts to whatever you want. It's a bit more fiddly, take a bit more time, but once you've done it, there's loads of flexibility available if you take that option. So we'll just move him out of the way. It was formerly Commander Pinpoint, and I used him to help with Microtrons, but he was a bit puny, he didn't really do too much. People calling him Commander Pinhead. He wasn't very good, so I've gone for more of a meaner configuration there, but we'll talk about this now in this section next. So I have to say, really enjoyed using the T'au recently. Played or filmed a load of games with them, both for the channel here and for the Plus channel. A lot of T'au games coming out on the Plus channel as well. All different opponents, very tough games for them, but it's very, very enjoyable. It really has been really good. It's nice to be able to get these T'au up and running again. Try and get them sorted out as quickly as possible. So your options then, the Commander in the XV8 Crisis Battlesuit, that's just your regular Commander. He's power level 7. He's 72 points. For an extra 4 points, you can then get the Enforcer, that's the XV85 Enforcer Battlesuit. The only difference there is pretty much just get an extra wound. It's almost... Why would they bother putting that in? Yeah, well, no, because the regular Commander here, it's interesting. Regular Commander, you do have the option of upgrading him to take the Iridium Battlesuit, giving him a 2+ save. So you get a 2-up save, but less wounds. Whereas here you don't have access to the Iridium. So it's interesting, the slight differences just there. They both come with Man to Strike, Master of War, and For the Greater Good. I think the Commander's a brilliant option for the T'au. The stat line is excellent for them. You can really load them out for whatever role that you want. This is where if you've got a T'au army, and I mean I'm even considering this at the moment, there's a gap somewhere. Anti-infantry, anti-heavy infantry, anti-hordes, anti-tank. You need some area filled, then get a Commander and then configure him to fill that gap. So you're lacking anti-tank, configure him with anti-tank weapons. If you need someone to clear hordes out of the way, then give them the appropriate options there as well. So very, very versatile unit, and the stat line's excellent here. Movement 8, weapon skill and weapon skills 3+, ballistic skill 2+. That's the crucial part for him. A lot of T'au units are hitting on 4s, and then half of your shots are going to miss. But for him, 2+ to hit. So whatever you arm him with are points. It's going to be points well spent, because he's going to be hitting his target the vast majority of the time. Strength and toughness 5, 5 wounds or 6 wounds in this case, 4 attacks, leadership 9 and a 3-up save. So it's an excellent stat line. What makes them even better is that they're characters, and so they can hide behind your lines of infantry and other units and so on. So it's hard for the opponent to try and get rid of them. So not only can they fire very effectively, but they can also hide behind stuff and be very hard to try and kill as well. So it means they can, if you use them wisely, you can make them last a good while during the game. Now, for example, if he's behind an infantry screen of some kind, then he's able to hide behind there for as many turns as possible. Then he's able to chuck out that very accurate firepower, and the opponent, this is very unlikely he's going to be able to strike back unless he clears the whole screen out of the way. So a tricky unit to try and deal with for the opponent as well. It's excellent firepower, very versatile, you can configure him how you want, and then also very hard to actually kill as well if you use him wisely and keep him safe. So I mean, there has been, just talking about tactics, this is sort of a tactical video as well. I've sort of shifted tactics for him as well. In 7th edition, with the old rules for Deep Strike, you could choose somewhere on the board to land, and then you'd either land there exactly or you'd scatter within that area. But now for 8th edition, there's this 9-inch zone that you're not allowed to land in. It didn't used to be that way, so it's increasingly harder to pull off a man to strike ambush, especially with my configuration with fusion blasters, trying to get close. And the amount of times I've played a game, the opponent knows I've got fusion blasters and he puts the infantry screen out, and preventing him from landing close enough to heavier targets like vehicles and so on. So it's I find it much harder to pull off that attack. And then now with the big FAQ as well, you can't even do that in turn 1. You've got to land, if you are going to land, it has to be within your own deployment zone. So nightmare. Now it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. So that's that rule there. 9 inches, you've got to be more than 9 inches away from enemy models. You've got to wait now till turn 2 to land somewhere on the battlefield other than your deployment zone. So what I have been doing is the hiding behind the screen sort of tactic. So behind a ghost kill has been quite a good tactic. Ghost kill out front, he's absorbing the damage, he's proving hard to hit, so opponents are struggling to get through and destroy that unit, and then he's tucked behind, firing out from behind that protective screen. There may be other units that you can think of to use Riptide, perhaps using him just behind, pairing up with the Riptide, and then those two working together. The Riptide absorbing the damage, perhaps a 3+1 save, 2 up save, loads of wounds, and then the Commander sneakily moving up behind, who's not allowed to be targeted unless the Riptide is destroyed. And then you can protect the Riptide with drones, shield drones, and so on. So there's that kind of combination. A lot of combination work. A lot of combinations would work well with him. So it's a lot of wisdom needed really in using this unit. So what I say at this stage is I've covered some tactics there. Those are tactics that I use. If you're an experienced T'au player and you've been using the T'au Commander, I know it is a popular choice for the T'au, then leave your own hints and tips and your battlefield experience with using T'au Commanders, the best way to use them tactically. And then also you can cover your favourite loadout and the reasons why. So there's loads of options here. You can go for the model may replace its burst cannon missile pod with 2 weapons from the ranged weapons and or support systems, and you can take 2 additional items from the ranged weapons and support systems. So there's 4 options available. I've gone for quadruple fusion blaster for him, but what's your favourite combination and why did you take it, and does it work? And I'm on the lookout for different configurations, so I'll read your comments of interest for sure, and I'm sure it'll be a help to other viewers as well, especially for those who are getting into collecting T'au and wanting to start off with a decent unit. So leave your comments and feedback behind for that. Imagine it'll be an interesting, fascinating discussion. It'll be very interesting to see what others have to say on loadouts for this guy, and tactics as well. Some clever tactics and combinations as well, like what units your commander hangs around with and why. Fascinating to hear about that as well. So they come with Master of War, so all that can be easily forgotten, but it's well worth using in the game. And again, another great reason to use the commander. Once per battle, at the beginning of your turn, a single commander from your army can declare either Koyan or Montkat. So it looks like if you take multiple commanders, you can use it once per commander. A single commander, yes. If you've got 2 commanders in your army, you can use this twice. I think. I'm just reading it here. Once per battle at the beginning of your turn. A single commander. I'm not sure on that one, actually. I don't know what you're allowed to do. Whether you can do it multiple times. Once per commander, or whether it's once per battle, that rule can be used, in which case you can only use it once. Koyan is the first one until the end of the turn. You can reroll failed hit rolls for friendly, whatever your sept is, units within 6 inches of the commander. Imagine that would include the commander himself, but these units cannot move for any reason. Okay, should remain stationary, so like a turn 1 for example. Just now, that is helpful. That if you position him, in amongst your gun line, you've packed your gun line out with fire warriors, breachers. There's broadsides in there, hammerheads nearby, a storm surge. Then you're all going to get rerolls. That's excellent. That really is very, very good. So a big incentive there to pack your gun line tight and have everyone within 6 of him. Turn 1, he's a unit that can manoeuvre around quite quick. 8-inch move is pretty quick, but turn 1 you might just want to land him in the middle of your army, let them all fire with rerolls, and then you can move off and go do other stuff. Definitely an option. The Montkat, friendly sept units within 6 of the commander can both advance and shoot as if they hadn't moved this turn. Nice. Again, on the attack, it's good. Let's otherwise stages. You can only use this Master of War ability once per battle. Alright, here you go, that's the question. My question's been answered. Irrespective of how many models in your army have this ability. Right, there you go. So I should have read I should have read a bit further. But that's been resolved. You do only get this once in the game, but that's really is good. So you can see, I think he's a level above a lot of units. I was looking at ghost kills, for example, and struggling to get them to hit on better than 4+. There's some things you can do, but it's a bit of a struggle. And then the commander's an excellent stat line, very, very flexible. And by the time you load him out with weapons, it's cheaper than a ghost kill usually. And then you've got access to this special rule as well, Master of War. So it's excellent. So for the greater good then, you can help out other units when they're charged within 6 inches and so on, and again that can be a pretty good tactic as well. You know, say for example, my ghost kill is operating there, the commander's tucked right behind him. If the ghost kill gets charged, the commander's nearby, he can contribute with some overwatch, that kind of idea. For weapons loadouts, you know, up to 4 options. At any of the T'au weapons, 4 of any of those weapons is going to be good. Even 4 flamers, I was thinking the other day. It'd be a bit of a waste of his 2+ ballistics, but even 4 flamers would be handy. So we'll cover the weapons then. Now, I'll sort of talk about the ones that I like the most, the ones that I don't think are quite so good. So he's got access to the ranged weapons here. So first one then is the air bursting fragmentation projector. They're 8 points each. This is a cheaper option. So I just need to go to here. So this weapon's okay. It's range 18s, the range isn't amazing. It's D6 shots, strength 4, AP -0, 1 damage, and you can fire at units that are not visible to the bearer. It's alright. I don't think it's that amazing. If you really think there's a role for a unit that can fire at targets that can't see, the rest of your army's struggling, then by all means take that, but I don't think that's particularly powerful. You know, if you took 4 of them, it's still in your 4d6 shots. And you are at 2s to hit, but wouldn't see it as that deadly. Maybe you disagree, but I think there's better options to take. Now, do you know, there's something interesting here. Another option is to take a flamer. So now flamers are 9 points each. The air bursting fragmentation projector is 8. I would choose that over the flamers because the flamers are auto hits, but it's a bit of a waste because he's on 2s to hit anyway. And the advantage of the air bursting fragmentation projector, it's the same rate of fire as the flamer, you know, D6. Yes, the flamer's going to hit automatically, but he's on 2s to hit anyway. The advantage of the air bursting fragmentation projector is the range. You will get your 18-inch range as opposed to 9, so that's a lot better. And the big advantage of being able to fire at targets you can't see. So helpful for flushing out hidden targets, if that's a priority that you have. But so we covered flamer as well. The other way to make these a little bit better is to take the advanced targeting system, and it's a bit more cheaper for the commander. It's 12 points. It just means that the AP on your weapons is improved by 1. So AP -1 for your flamers and air bursting fragmentation projectors. I'd definitely take that option just to give a bit more bite to those weapons. But still, I'm not so keen on those options. Next is the cyclic iron blaster, which cannot be taken by the cold star. So you're restricted with him, which is a shame, but he can't take it. Cyclic iron blaster, we'll cover the cold star in just a minute. Cyclic iron blaster then, I like this weapon, but there's an issue with it. Cyclic iron blaster is 18 points a time, it's double the cost of the others. 18-inch range, but for the speed that the commander moves around, and usually the opponent's probably going to try and head towards you anyway, so range isn't too much of a problem. It's 18-inch range, assault 3, so remember if you're taking 4 of them, that's 12 shots, 2s to hit. Strength 7, -1 and 1 damage. Then again I would take the advanced targeting systems, that would be strength 7 -2. So pretty helpful against things like Space Marines, Primaris Marines, light vehicles, pretty good. Then you can go for overcharge. You keep the same amount of fire, so 12 shots if you took 4 of them. Goes up to strength 8, which is really good. AP -1 or AP -2 if you take the advanced targeting system. D3 damage. So now you've got a weapon that's handy for both infantry, heavy infantry and vehicles. It's generally going to cause trouble all round. And if you get enough of those D3 shots coming through, enough of those wounds coming through and the opponent fails enough saves, you're going to cause a lot of trouble for irregular vehicles. The problem is that if you roll 1 or more hit rolls of 1, it's mortal wounds. So you know, it's great to have lots of shots, but The danger of that is getting lots of ones, and then all of a sudden he can take a load of wounds, and that's not so good. So you've got to find a way of re-rolling ones, is the key. And you can go for, I was looking at this earlier, you can go for a multi-tracker, but again, it's re-roll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. If it fires all of its weapons at the same target and the target contains 5 more models, it's alright for certain targets, but not great for things like vehicles, which is just 1 model in the target unit, so it doesn't really solve that. There's warlord traits, again, there's warlord traits. If you know a way around this, then by all means share it, but I was looking at warlord traits was another option. Here, for example, through boldness victory, if your warlord is within 12 inches of an enemy unit, so again a bit of a restriction there, you've got to get within 12. At the start of your shooting phase you can re-roll failed hit rolls made for your warlord until the end of the phase, so 2-step re-rolling ones. That's good, that's about the best option there, I think. It means you're not having to use precious command points, but it's actually built into his stats there with that warlord trait, so that's a better option, but you've got to get within 12. I know for a fact that perhaps half the time, annoyingly, target's not going to be within 12. And then if you are getting within 12, you're starting to get a bit close to to the opponent, and it's maybe not such a good thing for your commander. The other great thing about commanders is they can fly. They have the fly keyword, which means if they are contacted during close combat and they survive, they can pull out and still fire, which is very, very helpful for battle suits. It really is good. So Cyclic Iron Blaster, I like the idea of it, and I think it'll do okay against most targets, and it's nice variety. It covers a good spectrum, but the ones is perhaps an issue for that. Next is Flamers, we've covered that. Fusion Blasters, that's the loadout that I go for. So again, for the Fusion Blasters, that through boldness victory would be helpful, re-rolling ones, but this is only going to be 4 shots, so command re-roll may well cover that as well, on the off chance you get a 1, and it's usually only going to get 1, usually. It's not that many, there's only 4 shots come through. The Fusion Blaster though is one of my favourite weapons. It really is good. Now it's Assault 1, range 18, the range isn't too bad, for the heaviness of the weapon. Strength 8, so most vehicles you'll be winning on a 3+. AP minus 4, so most armor you're just going to cut straight through, and then it's D6 damage. So imagine getting 4d6 damage on a vehicle if all goes to plan. I mean, that's horrendous if that happens. Most vehicles are going to be destroyed. Then if you get to within half the range, which is 9, you get to, for your damage, you roll 2 dice, discard the lowest, and that means very, very reliable damage coming through if you can get to that range as well. So that's nasty for him. But again, 18 inches is some distance. If he's operating behind a line and chucking out those Fusion Blaster shots, that is very, very useful there. So I like that configuration. It is more expensive to do. Fusion Blasters are 21 points each, I believe. Yeah, 21 points a time. But you're getting some of the heaviest, nastiest firepower that the T'au have. The other option is the Missile Pod, which has fallen out of favour. I used to really like the Missile Pod, but struggling to justify using it here. Here it's range 36. The great thing about it is the range is really good, but it's 24 points a time, so it's 3 more points more expensive than the Fusion Blast. It's very, very expensive. Assault 2, so if he's got 4 of them, he's going to be chucking out 8 shots. There's no danger of the ones being rolled for mortal wounds and so on, so that's good. It's a hefty amount of shots. Strength 7, which is good, but yeah, when I used to take it, I used to take the missile pods. I ended up firing at vehicles a lot of the time. Strength 7's alright, but it's 4s to wound average vehicles. You need 5s to wound a Lean Russ. It's just not that great. AP minus 1 means your opponent's gonna, if he's got a vehicle, he's gonna block a lot of those getting through, even with the advanced targeting system. And D3 damage, which is alright, but end up firing at a vehicle even with 4 of those, and you end up causing 2 D3 damage. It's alright, but it's not that deadly. And then very, very expensive. You'd be looking at about 100 points to equip a commander with 4 of those. So that's a lot of points. So the other options then is the plasma rifle. Again, it's fallen out of favour as well, but it's quite cheap. The plasma rifle is 11 points. It's significantly cheaper than a lot of the other heavy weapons, and I reckon it'd be handy enough. Plasma rifle, range 24, so you've got a nice amount of range there. Rapid fire 1, so you would need to get within 12 inches. If you do, you're then gonna, if you've got 4 of them, you then have 8 shots. Strength 6, this is really an anti-heavy infantry weapon. Strength 6, AP -3, and 1 damage. Excellent for taking out things like regular Space Marines. Would cause absolute havoc amongst them. Very, very helpful. And it's definitely a cheaper option for equipping the commander with those. So plasma rifles are alright, but the damage, if they were damage 2, I'd take them. If it was a damage 2 weapon, I'd seriously consider it, but it's only damage 1. You end up firing against like Primaris Marines, you've got to work your way through the wounds. Vehicles hardly any trouble. And so that's why I've not really gone for plasma rifles. Maybe you disagree, maybe you've got a winning combination that works really well. So that's the options then. We've covered some of these support systems as well. So yeah, so we've covered advanced targeting system, the counter-fire defense system. I found some of these have got quite expensive, and so I don't use these as much as I used to. Counter-fire defense system is 10 points. Now, is it worth it? A model equipped with counter-fire defense system rerolls failed hit rolls and firing Overwatch. It's okay. Yeah. Well, no, it would be good. The best combination I think to use that is if you take T'au Sept, so that your Overwatch becomes 5+, and then I believe that can all help out with your supporting fire. So imagine, again, your commander's in amongst your gun line, the front rank of infantry is being charged by some Carnifex, for example. The commander's within 6 inches. He can fire at 5+ with 4 fusion blasters, re-rolling those hits. That's an excellent way to make use of that counter-fire defense system. So yeah, I reckon it's handy enough. If you use T'au Sept, I reckon it's the best way of doing it. The Iridium Battlesuit then, that's the option available for the first commander. It gives you a 2-up save. The drone controller, I always used to take drone controller, but don't bother anymore. It's only 5 points. I don't, because I use shield drones now, so this really isn't going to help. But drone units within 6 of any friendly models equipped with a drone controller add 1 to their hit rolls. It's nowhere near as good as it used to be. It used to be you fire at the same ballistic skill as the controller, which in his case would be 2+, but it's not, it's just +1 to hit now, so not that great. The early warning override is useful if enemy units set up within 12 inches of a model from your army equipped with an early warning override. As a result of an ability like a deep strike, then at the end of that phase the model can immediately shoot at one of those units as if it were the shooting phase, but it's -1 to hit. Again, that is useful for the commander, but it's quite rare now that that's going to happen to him, that he's going to be near enough 12 inches during the game. Off chance it happens, then maybe, but that's going to cost you 5 points. Yeah, so it's quite cheap to equip it to him. It's more expensive to give it to the other bigger models. Only 5 points there. These are handy upgrades to have if you've got a few spare points at the end of your list, and you can add these in. Multi-tracker then, we've covered that, that's 3 roll 1s. The shield generator, again, why pay for a shield generator? I think if you're just going to put him behind a screen and not be shot at, but you may want that backup just in case he does find himself alone and someone's got a las cannon going to try and take him out. Then give him the shield generator, which will cost just 8 points to give him a 4+ invuln. So it's helpful, would be helpful. The philosophy that I've gone for is that I've already spent enough points on him, and besides that, my 4 slots have been used up by my weaponry. I see the value in taking an extra weapon as opposed to these upgrades here. Target lock. Target lock does not suffer the penalty of moving and firing heavy weapons or for advancing and firing assault weapons. That's okay, it's not too expensive. 6 points. And then velocity tracker, add 1 to the hit rolls for a model with velocity tracker against units that can fly. It's very, very cheap. It's 2 points. But again, all my slots have been used up. But again, that's another option that you could add in. I think wired, vehicles that can fly, if it's a hard to hit target, for example, you're on 3+ to hit them anyway. So I don't bother with that. So mine's just very, take the commander, give him 4 guns, and then just the strengths in his stat line. You know, he's 2s to hit, and that's good enough. Make use of the Master of War as well, and he's decent enough, and then not paying for all those too many toys and upgrades and so on, but just paying for the points for the weapons. And he turns out expensive enough. I'd take the Enforcer Battlesuit, is the exact choice that I have, the extra wound, and then I'm going to add in the Fusion Blasters. He comes to 160 points, so he's expensive enough, but he's potentially to cause a lot of trouble. The most effective, I think, for him, this configuration I have, is an aggressive advance protected by a shield. So shielding units out the front, moving up, ghost kills specifically I'm thinking of, him moving up behind and providing supporting fire and trying to swing around a flank and lead an attack around to the opponent's deployment zone to objectives, him providing excellent supporting fire. For every turn that he's able to shoot at something, then he's redeeming his points the whole time. The last thing I want is 2 or 3 turns of the game where he's out of range and he's wasting the heavy firepower that he's got. So it's vital that he operates at medium range to the opponent and not held right at the very back. So maybe at turn 1 I can hold him in the middle of my gun line, and then immediately he goes out and starts to go on a mission somewhere. So that's what I try and do with the commander at the moment. But there really is so much potential. These are, you know, so many different combinations. So plenty to discuss here in the comments section. It'll be fascinating, and it'll be an important resource, I think, to have that information all available here in this video to see what other T'au players, what configurations they go for. So the other option is the Cold Star. It's based on the same kit, so if you buy this kit you can go for any of these here. You get the extra bits here that you can attach on to make him a Cold Star battlesuit. With the new codex they've vastly improved. You used to be stuck with the high outburst burst cannon and the missile pod, but now you can replace those weapons with ranged weapons, and it's still the same amount you can take, so you can still take 2 and 2, so that's all available. The only restriction that I can see now is that you cannot take Cyclic Iron Blaster for some reason, but they're not allowed to take those. The Cold Star is 90 points, so you're paying about 15 points more, or a bit more than that if you above the regular commander. But for those extra 15 points you're getting your 6 wounds, just like here, and then you're also getting your 20-inch moves. It goes from 8 inches to 20 inches, and then if he advances it's a straight 20 as well. Remember, these are assault weapons, so you'll be able to advance and move a total of 40 inches and still be able to fire assault weapons. So excellent. The only danger here is if he moves over something very quickly and he finds himself alone, he's going to get shot at. You know, whether he's a character or not, if he's not protected by other characters or other screening units nearby, then you lose that great advantage of being a character. And so yes, he's great to move out and ambush something, but then if he's isolated, he's going to get shot to bits. So Cold Star, definitely a useful option. Even he would be handy. I'm thinking now, you start him off in the middle of your gun line, use your Master of War, and then immediately 20 inches or more to get him into that flanking attack. So much more quicker for getting into position. So for that reason, that Cold Star would be very, very useful. It does look cool with these extra fins and stuff. It's easily an easy upgrade to sort out that I could add those. So I could find them in my bits box and perhaps add them on to make him a Cold Star battlesuit. Or get a second commander maybe and have one holding the line and then have one leading an attack, something like that. But Cold Star, definitely an option. I know this one's become much more popular now because he has access to all of the different ranged weapons there. So Commander Cold Star, or a Cold Star battlesuit, looks like a good option. So I'm not going to go through all of the weapon options. I'll roll up some dice to give you an idea of how mine works. So we've got our crash test dummy rhino here. So let's say I've moved up and I'm within 18 inches. So it's 4 shots here, needing 2. Right, well, there's some misses. So we'll leave that at that. That's the danger there. Say I use a command reroll, which I probably would. So we've got our 3 hits. 3s for wounds now against a regular vehicle. So 2 of them get through. AP -4, which is what I really like. Just going to bypass the armor. It's going to get no armor save at all. It's 2d6 damage and scored 6. So it's caused trouble for that vehicle. But it's in there. It's not quite as effective than if he gets a bit closer. I'll have another go just to try and average it out. This time they all hit. 3s for wounds. This time they all wound. Now the rhino's in trouble. Gone. Destroyed. The ability to one-shot kill a vehicle, 1 round of firepower vehicle destroyed or a target destroyed is really good. Especially in 8th edition. It used to happen a lot more in 7th edition. You know, if you roll well on your damage, you could just blow a vehicle up. It's more doesn't happen as much now in 8th edition, but when you can do it, it's quite spectacular. You've just seen it illustrated there. Let's say he gets to in the 9-inch sort of zone now, and I've got that command trait of where if you get within 12 inches, you re-rolling once. Now this is where he's really good. So I can re-roll this. I get my hits. Looking for 3s to wound. 2 of them get through, but it's 2d6. Choose the best, so it's 3, and I'll choose the 6, so 9. Almost destroyed that rhino. Try again. 3s to hit. Reroll 1s. See, just trying to make him reliable as possible. 3s for wounds. Just the 2 again. Choose the best here, just a 2, and choose a 6. Again, almost destroying the rhino. One more go. 4 hit except 1. Reroll 1s. 4 hit. 3s for wounds. This is better. And then the first one, I'll choose the 6. The second one, choose the 6. Then the third one, choose the 3. Destroyed. So it's operating within that 9-inch zone is when he's most effective. I fired him heavy infantry before. 4 shots, took out 4 Primaris Marines, no problem. So heavy infantry, that firepower is really good as well. Monsters as well, excellent for firing at those. Yeah, he'll take out Carnifex in 1 round of shooting, no problem at all. I think to have that option, that configuration, I think is helpful enough. Not the best against other targets like hordes and so on. But if I find myself being contacted by hordes and he survives combat, then he's able to pull out and fire at other targets. So he gets charged by something, he moves on, fires at a target, moves on. So useful enough. So that's the tactics video and showcase for the T'au Commander. And one of the key, well, my T'au army can operate without him, but he's a very useful unit for sure. And he has provided some excellent firepower support for the force that I have. And at times, when he's been in the right time, right place, and he's swept, especially when he's swept around the flank, supporting units nearby, he's just fired 1 round after the next at targets and just reduced them down. He's been very, very helpful. So if you're able to protect him and sort of clear a path for him and let him operate, firing those weapons, the configuration I have, he can prove to be very effective indeed. But by all means, leave your own comments and feedback. What's your configuration? How does it work? Does it work well? Share that in the comments section below also. There it is. That's the tactics showcase for the T'au Commander. Keep a lookout for more T'au tactics videos on the channel and battle reports as well on both the channels. Thanks for watching and tune in next time. And I'll just say, if you want to see the list that I have, the brand new list for the T'au, check out the Plus channel. There is the T'au in-depth, or the T'au army development video there, and you'll see the new list, and you can leave your own comments and feedback and help adjust and change that list with your own suggestions. And on there we can build an army to bring glory to the T'au Empire. But we'll have to see. But keep a lookout for the T'au on both the channels. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.